Hi, I'm Sarah. James, can you pass me the blue blanket over there? I called out in our sunny, cheerful room that was going to be our baby's nursery. The walls were painted a calm pastel green, and there were cute animal stickers everywhere. James and I had spent weeks picking out everything from the crib to the mobiles, making sure it was all perfect. Here you go, babe, James said, handing me the soft blanket with a big smile. We were adding the final touches, feeling both nervous and excited. Do you think he'll like the stars on this blanket? I asked. He's going to love everything, James replied, smoothing the blanket over the little mattress. Can you imagine? In just a few weeks, we'll be here at 2 a.m., trying to get him back to sleep? James laughed and hugged me. As long as I'm with you, I can handle a few sleepless nights. The nursery was almost done. It was a labor of love, showing our journey into parenthood. The shelves were filled with storybooks, plush toys, and framed ultrasound pictures. It was perfect. The next day, after a doctor's appointment, I came home excited to add some new baby clothes to the dresser, but when I walked in, something felt wrong. The silence was too heavy. I dropped my bag and hurried to the nursery, my heart pounding. When I opened the door, I couldn't believe my eyes. The room was empty. Every single item we had picked out was gone: the crib, the blankets, the toys, even the pictures from the walls. It was like our dream for the future had vanished. I stood there, shocked, saying no, 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 as I looked around at the empty room. I rushed to the living room and found a note on the coffee table. It was from Carol, James's mother. My eyes scanned the note, each word making my stomach sink. Sarah and James, I've taken the liberty of donating your nursery items to a charity. There are many people who have nothing, and I know you can easily replace these things. It's for a good cause. You'll understand one day. Love, Carol. Understand? How could I understand? I crumpled the note, my mind racing with disbelief and anger. How could she do this? How could she think it was okay? When James came home, I was pacing, still clutching the crumpled note in my hand. He froze when he saw my face. Then his eyes shifted past me to the empty nursery. What happened, Sarah? Where is everything? Your mother happened, I said, shoving the note into his hands. As he read it, I watched his confusion turn to shock, then to anger. This isn't right. She can't just decide this for us. James crumpled the note too, his jaw tightening. She had no right, none at all. We spent the rest of the evening in turmoil. Our joy was gone, replaced by the feeling that something precious had been stolen from us. The nursery, once a place of dreams, now felt cold and empty, a painful reminder of what was taken. We need to talk to her, James. This can't continue, I said, my voice steady with determination as I grabbed my phone. She needs to understand she can't just interfere like this. As the phone rang, my resolve grew stronger. This wasn't just about the baby items, it was about respect. Respect for us, for our new family, and for the choices we made. I was ready to fight for that. After 2 rings, Carol answered. Hello? Carol, we need to talk about what you did with our nursery, I said, my voice firm and direct. Oh, hello, dear. Yes, I was just about to call you. I dropped off the nursery items at the charity this morning. They were so grateful, you know. Carol, why didn't you ask us first? That was for our baby. You took everything, I said, my words sharp with hurt and disbelief. There was a pause. I did it for a good cause. Sarah, you can always buy more stuff, can't you? That's not the point, Carol, James chimed in, his voice just as firm. Those were our choices, our preparations for our child. You had no right to make that decision for us. Carol sighed on the other end, her tone dismissive. James, when you see the bigger picture, you'll understand. There are so many families who have nothing. We're blessed, and we should help where we can. I thought you'd be proud. I'm not proud, Mom. I'm hurt. You crossed a line, James said, his frustration clear. I know you're upset, but you're overreacting. You can easily replace everything. I just thought it was wasteful to let all those new things sit there when others could use them now. You can set up the nursery again, Carol said, her voice steady, as if she was convinced she'd done the right thing. That's not your decision to make, Carol, I snapped, anger surging through me, gripping the phone tighter. You've taken something from us that we can never get back, the excitement and joy of preparing for our child. How can you not see that? There was a long silence on the other end before she finally responded. Sarah, James, I did what I thought was best. If you're this upset over a few items, I'll help you replace them, but I won't apologize for helping those in need. That's not what this is about, Carol, I replied, shaking my head even though she couldn't see me. It's about respect and boundaries. James took a deep breath, sounding exhausted as he spoke, more to himself than to his mother. We'll talk more about this later, Mom. Right now, we need some space. As we hung up, the air between us felt thick with tension. It wasn't just about the missing nursery items, it was about the deeper issue of our feelings and choices being completely disregarded. James, what are we going to do? I asked, feeling drained. How do we make her understand? We set boundaries, Sarah, clear, firm boundaries. It's the only way, James said, his voice resolute, as if he'd made up his mind. That night, we sat down and wrote a letter to Carol, carefully outlining our feelings and the boundaries we needed to establish. It wasn't just about the nursery, it was about declaring our independence as a family. We valued her as part of our lives, but we couldn't allow her to overstep the way she had. We need to make sure this never happens again, for our sanity and for the well-being of our family, I said, sealing the envelope. Yes, James agreed, taking my hand, for our family. In this emotionally difficult time, we found comfort in the support of others. James made the first call to his Aunt Susan, who had always been a strong presence in our lives. His voice was hesitant but hopeful. Hey, Mom, he began, speaking to his aunt as we both sought a way forward together. We had a bit of a situation at home, James explained. It's about the nursery. Susan's response was immediate and full of empathy. Oh, you two must be devastated. What can I do to help? Her kind words felt like a balm, and soon, our community began to rally around us. Friends and family didn't just offer sympathy, they showed up with real support. Baby items started arriving, some brand new, others lovingly handed down, each with its own story and meaning attached. One afternoon, our neighbor Linda, whom we had barely spoken to before, arrived with a beautiful hand-knit blanket. I heard what happened, dear, she said, her eyes soft with understanding. I wanted to give you something made with love, something that can't be taken away so easily. James and I spent our evenings sorting through the items, each piece not only helping to rebuild the nursery but also healing our spirits. The response from our community was overwhelming, each act of kindness weaving a tapestry of support that held us up during this challenging time. We're so lucky to have people who care about us, James murmured one evening as we set up a new crib, donated by my cousin Ellie. I know, I replied, feeling a deep sense of gratitude. It's amazing how much love there is around us. The nursery slowly came together again, different from the first, but filled with even more love, if that was possible. One Saturday, we invited everyone who had helped us to a small barbecue in our backyard to express our immense gratitude. The afternoon was filled with laughter, stories, and the smell of grilled food. As children played in the yard, Ellie came up to me with a plate of food, smiling. How are you holding up, Sarah? She asked. I looked around at the gathering of friends and family. Better now. It's hard to stay down when you have this much support. That's what family and friends are for, she said, giving me a gentle hug. As the sun began to set, painting the sky with hues of orange and pink, James and I stood side by side, watching our loved ones. This network of support hadn't just helped us rebuild the nursery, it had strengthened our relationships with the people who cared about us. It's like we're getting a second chance, James said, squeezing my hand. Yes, I agreed, leaning into him. And this time, it's built on the strength of all these wonderful people behind us. The emotional strain from Carol's betrayal had been real, but so was the power of community. As we prepared once again for the arrival of our baby, we knew that no matter the challenges ahead, we had a circle of love and support that would always carry us through. The energy in our home had shifted. The nursery was once again filled, not just with baby essentials, but with the warmth and love of our extended family. Yet James and I both knew that to truly move forward, we needed to address the root of the issue, Carol's intrusion into our lives. One quiet evening after dinner, we sat down to talk. James and I sat down to discuss what to do next. We can't let this happen again, Sarah, he said. We need to set boundaries that Carol will understand and respect. I agreed, feeling the weight of the decision. I agree. It's about protecting our family and our peace. Together, we made a list of boundaries and the consequences if they were crossed. It was important to make sure our family's space and decisions were respected in the future. The next day, we invited Carol over, hoping to explain our new boundaries calmly. When she arrived and sat down, James started, Mom, we need to talk about what happened with the nursery and how we move forward. Carol smiled, probably thinking this was a friendly chat, but her smile faded as James continued. Sarah and I have decided to set some boundaries. We need our family space and decisions to be respected. I spoke next, keeping my voice steady despite my emotions. We appreciate your intentions, Carol, but in the future, we need you to ask us before making decisions that affect us or our home. It's important for our peace of mind. Carol looked confused. But I was just trying to help. I don't see why there need to be such strict rules between family. It's not about rules, Carol, I replied. It's about respect. Carol sighed and shook her head. I think you're overreacting. I haven't done anything wrong. James's tone was firm. Mom, whether you think it was wrong or not isn't the point. It hurt us and broke our trust. We're setting these boundaries to keep our relationship healthy. Carol seemed like she might argue, but then she just nodded. If that's what you need, I'll try to respect it, though I still think it's unnecessary. After she left, there was a tense feeling in the air, but also a sense of clarity. James and I knew where we stood, and we were united. In the weeks that followed, as we prepared for our baby's arrival, our bond grew stronger. Every decision and preparation was made with mutual respect and care. It wasn't just about setting up a home for our child anymore, it was about building a strong, united front as parents. We're doing the right thing, aren't we? I asked. We're doing the right thing, aren't we? James asked one night as we reviewed everything again. Absolutely, I assured him, my hand resting on my growing belly. We're making sure our son comes into a world where his parents not only love him but also stand up for what's right. The nursery was calm, bathed in the soft afternoon sunlight. I rocked gently in the new glider, my eyes taking in the vibrant murals and shelves stocked with books and toys, each a symbol of the community's love and our own determination. Holding our baby boy in my arms, the troubles of the past felt both distant and defining. James placed a gentle hand on our son's head, his face showing a mix of wonder and deep thought. Can you believe we're actually here? He whispered. I smiled, looking around the serene room. It feels like a dream, but I know the journey to get here was very real. We went through a storm that tested our strength and taught us what it means to be a family. Reflecting on the situation with Carol, it was clear how much it had influenced our approach to relationships and boundaries. It's strange, I said aloud, how such a painful experience led us to a place of strength. Setting those boundaries with your mom was hard, but it feels right. James nodded thoughtfully. It taught us how to protect what's important and stand up for our family. I think it's made us stronger, not just as a couple, but as parents. As the day turned to evening and the first stars appeared outside the nursery window, James and I shared a quiet moment of gratitude. We were thankful for the challenges that taught us, for the community that supported us, and for the future we were ready to embrace as a united and strong family. And that's the end of our story, folks. I'd love to hear from you. If you were in Sarah and James's shoes, would you have set the same boundaries with Carol or handled it differently? This situation really tests the balance between family ties and personal autonomy.